Hello. Thank you for joining our webinar regarding the Interim Certification Program for Teach for America Detroit Corps members. My name is Kendra Hearn. I am the Teach for America Interim Certification Program Director. I'm also an Associate Chair for Secondary Teacher Education and a Clinical Assistant Professor here at the School of Education at University of Michigan. In addition to this webinar session, we'll also have question and answer sessions where you can interact directly with program personnel. There'll be 3 sessions, one on March 12th, March 24th, and April 14th. Each are from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. You can join them if you have an internet-connected computer and web browser by using a software app called BlueJeans. You simply need to download the BlueJeans plugin. It's a free download available at bluejeans.com/downloads. Once there, you'll click on the meeting URL. It'll be in the email invitation sent to you. It's also in this slide under each of the meeting dates and will also be posted on the program website tfa.soe.umich.edu. If you need more help joining the BlueJeans session of your choice, BlueJeans has a Getting Started guide on their web page. Our objectives for this web session are that by the end, you'll be familiar with Michigan legislation pertaining to interim certification, that you'll know which documents we need to enroll you in our program and to recommend you for interim certification with the Michigan Department of Education, that you'll know which subject areas we can recommend you for endorsements on your interim certification, that you'll understand the interim certification program format and expectations, and that you'll be familiar with the various program options. Here's a bit about interim certification in the state of Michigan. The interim certification is an alternative teaching license. It's for those who don't already hold a provisional or professional teaching certification in Michigan. Those who have the interim certification must participate in an interim certification program or have successfully completed one. To be issued one, you must have a bachelor's degree and have completed it with a 3.0 GPA. You must pass the Michigan Test for Teacher Certification, Professional Readiness Exam, as well as the subject area test in the areas in which you wish to be certified and endorsed. Those seeking world languages endorsement must also pass the OPIC or Oral Proficiency Test. The teaching placements that you are assigned by your school must align with the endorsement areas on your interim certification. Endorsements cannot be added or modified once your interim certification has been issued. We only recommend certification at one level, either elementary or secondary. The only exception to that rule is for K-8 or 6-8 or 6-12 rather, Spanish. The interim certification is valid in Michigan for 5 years and is only valid in the state of Michigan. You do have an option to teach a 3rd year to earn the provisional teaching certification. We do have an option, should you not meet our program expectations, to invalidate your interim certification while you're in the program or at the end of the 2 years of your core commitment if you have not completed the program or met the program expectations. Here's a list of the certification endorsement areas. We endorse in these areas in our traditional programs, and therefore we only endorse in these areas for the interim certification program as well. For elementary, you can seek endorsement for grades K through 5, all subjects, which would allow you to teach grades K through 5, any of the subjects, whether or not your classroom is self-contained. Grades K through 8, self-contained classroom, which means you are the teacher teaching all of the core content areas to a group of students for the bulk of the classroom day. You can also have or seek the following endorsements: language arts, math, science, and social studies for grades 6 through 8, and ESL grades K8 and Spanish grades K8. For those wanting to teach at the middle school or high school level, here are your endorsement options. World languages, there's French, German, Italian, Latin, and Spanish. English as a second language, but this is not a standalone endorsement at the secondary level. It must be added with another endorsement area. English, mathematics, science, which includes biology, chemistry, earth or space science, integrated science, physical science, and physics. Social studies, which includes economics, history, social science, and social studies. We encourage people to pursue the social studies endorsement because it has the broadest flexibility. How do you enroll in our interim certification program? First, inform Teach for America Detroit that you're choosing the University of Michigan for your certification program. Then, complete our enrollment forms and provide the documents required for certification ASAP, ideally before your June induction, but no later than 2 weeks before your first day of teaching. That's because it takes us time to process your paperwork, and it takes time for the Michigan Department of Ed to process it, and they process in batches. But you need that certification to begin teaching. So remember, no later than 2 weeks prior to your first day of teaching. To access the forms that you need, please visit tfa.soe.umich.edu. It's our program website. Most everything you'll need, you'll find there. You can also check in with us at our table at induction and make sure that we've received all of your necessary paperwork. What exactly are the specifics? We need your enrollment paperwork to recommend you for the interim certification. You need, of course, to pass the Michigan test for teacher certification, and that includes the professional readiness exam and subject area test for which you want to be endorsed. But make sure you have the official test results sent to us at institution code 28. You also will need to complete online bloodborne pathogens training, which is free. Have a criminal background check done through Certified Profile. The cost is $42. When directed, we'll also need you to apply for your interim certification through the MOEC system, which is Michigan's online educator certification system website. Then you'll submit to Teach for America your official transcript, including your degree conferral with the award date, proof of adult child CPR and first aid certification, valid through September 2015. And if you are seeking World Languages endorsement, oral proficiency test results. Also, at the time that we recommend you for interim certification, MDE will email you instructions for how to pay for and print your certification. The cost is $160. Remember, once your interim certificate is issued, endorsements cannot be modified. Here are your choices. The first is a minimum requirement. It's a certification only track rather. It's required of everyone who does not already hold a provisional or professional teaching certification in Michigan. You can also, though, opt for our Masters of Arts program, which rolls in the certification program work that you do into graduate credits, actually 11 graduate credits for that certification coursework towards the 30 total that you need to earn the full master's degree. You can also earn credit for the interim certification program work that you do that will show up as graduate credit on a transcript that will transfer to one of the university's graduate programs and many other graduate programs throughout the universe or throughout the nation. This is the non-candidate for degree option. It's for those of you who want graduate credits for your certification program work, but not a full master's degree. You can earn up to 5 to 8 graduate credits this way. So, a little bit about the certification program since it's the minimum requirement for everyone. It's outcomes and performance based, meaning our focus is on teaching you how to become a skillful teacher. We use a rubric that has competencies that are expected of novice teachers, and that rubric evaluates your performance in the field as well as the records of practice that you'll submit through your electronic portfolio. Our program is designed for in-service teachers working in urban contexts. So we intentionally use the problems of practice that you're experiencing in your classrooms and leverage those to help you become more effective. The classes are held bi-weekly in the evenings in Detroit to accommodate your professional life and your focus, which is your teaching and your students. We schedule the classes to avoid conflicting with our program, our master's program classes. That's also to say that if you choose to be in another university's master's program, their master's program classes do not supersede our interim certification program. So you'll want to take their master's program classes on evenings that our interim certification program classes do not meet. But if you're in our master's program, we schedule them so that they don't conflict with our interim certification program. The interim certification program is designed as a continuing education or professional education program. Therefore, graduate credit is not earned if you're in the certification only track. This helps to keep the program affordable. It also, again, is designed with professionals in mind, people who are in practice. Those of you, though, who do want to earn graduate credits have the option to be on the master's degree track or the non-candidate for degree option. There are 3 components to the interim certification program: seminars, field instruction, and the portfolio. The seminars are organized by content area and grade level. The curriculum is modular, making it flexible so that your seminar instructor can modify the curriculum to suit your cohort's needs, meaning as they see what you are encountering, the problems of practice that arise in your classroom, they can adjust by lengthening or shortening a module or even reordering them based on what you need. We feature skillful teaching of our own to help you become more skillful in your own practice by making teaching more visible and transparent, using demonstrations, opportunities for you to rehearse practices, as well as video analysis of teaching. You'll also be visited in your classroom in the field by a field instructor who themselves has taught your grade level and content area, oftentimes in an urban setting. This person will visit you 4 to 6 times and coach you over the phone or through web conferencing a couple of times as well throughout the year. After each visit, they'll also debrief their visit with you so that you can ask questions and have the opportunity to give your own thoughts about your teaching. They'll provide you with feedback via the rubric as well as narrative comments after each visit as well. Again, you'll also construct a portfolio, which are entries that respond to the seminar curriculum. They are signed by your seminar instructor after each module. The portfolio assignments are, and they require you to draw from records from your own practice to think about your instruction in relationship to what you're studying in the seminar and what you're experiencing in your teaching. How do you go about keeping your interim certification while in the program and even afterwards? So you need to attend all of the seminar classes and be an active and engaged professional learner. There are about 14 or 15 sessions per academic year. That means from September to April. We ask that you miss no more than 1 class with good reason, meaning a professional obligation such as parent-teacher conference or a documentable emergency such as a death of a close family member or an acute illness of your own. We want you to be rated advanced proficient on the program outcomes pertaining to professionalism by your seminar instructor. This means timeliness of submissions of your portfolio entries, timeliness to class, as well as your participation in your seminar class. You'll also be expected to complete all of your portfolio entries and submit them in a timely fashion and receive passing ratings or at least a score of 1.5 on average or above for a first-year core member. We also expect that you actively work with your field instructor to schedule field visits and debriefings. This includes rescheduling in a timely fashion if a need arises, such as an unexpected assembly is scheduled, or if a fire drill is planned. Making sure to give your field instructor advance notice, because often they are traveling quite a ways, is the courteous and professional thing to do. Responding to their emails in a timely fashion is also evidence of actively working with them to invite them into your classroom. We also want you to, through your field visits, demonstrate that you are at least beginning proficient And that, again, is an average, which will make sense once you see the program rubric of at least 1.5 on average of all of your field ratings. You're also expected to pay the program fees at the end of each year. You can pay these with your AmeriCorps award or out of pocket. Here's a layout of the content methods seminar topics. I'll focus on the left side of the chart since that's the one pertaining to first-year core members. There are 5 modules. The first 3 occur in the first semester and the last 2 in the second. The year starts off with the first portfolio assignment, which is simply a survey of demographics as well as your current understanding and dispositions about teaching and teaching practices. Module 1 is about how students learn the content area that you are teaching at the age and grade level that you're teaching. The second is about how to plan for engaging in effective instruction of that content area as well as that grade and age level. And that ends with an assignment to do a lesson and unit plan. You will have done many of those already by that point in Summer Institute and through that point in your own teaching even. But we're hoping to have added to your understanding about how to do those through a content area lens and enhance the units and lessons that you design. Module 3 is about, it says strategies for delivering effective content instruction, but this also deals with methods and a frame for thinking about your content area and then the strategies that are associated with those particular frames for approaching the teaching of your discipline. The portfolio assignment then is an analysis and reflection on your teaching practice, meaning once you've tried out those methods and strategies, we'll ask you to do some analysis of how things worked out. Module 4 is about motivating students to learn in the discipline, and this actually is a module that focuses on assessing and providing feedback to students, which ends in a case study and analysis of student work. And Module 5 is about teaching all children. This is a module about all of the varied learners in your classroom and how best to meet their learning needs. And it ends with a portfolio assignment where you're asked to think about how you've developed as a teacher and the impact your teaching has had on all of the children you've been charged with. So here's a bit about the schedule of our certification program and most, but not all of the master's degree classes. They're held at the University of Michigan Detroit Center, which is in the Midtown or Cultural Center, also known as Cass Corridor, right on Woodward Avenue, a main thoroughfare in Detroit for those of you not from here. The program orientation this year will occur on September 15th or 17th. You'll know which of those dates once we know how many of you are in the program and which content areas you'll be teaching. But if you know you're going to be in our program, please hold those 2 evenings for now in your calendars. Again, the content method seminars meet bi-weekly roughly. Sometimes that pattern is interrupted by holidays or vacations, but always on Tuesdays or Thursdays from 6 to 8 p.m. The first seminar sessions will begin the week of September 21st and go through early May. The cost of the program is $4,850 each year. You will be invoiced at the end of each of those years. If you are not using an AmeriCorps award, you will be expected to pay within 60 days of receiving your invoice. But if you are receiving an AmeriCorps award, we know that when those are released, and won't be expecting payment from you until July. For those not receiving an AmeriCorps award, we just encourage you to budget wisely and save every month so that when the bill comes at the end of the year, you're not taken off guard. We'll give you instructions when the time comes about how to transfer your award to the School of Ed, which is done through an electronic system. And it's important to know that financial aid cannot be applied to the certification program fee since it's not a degree granting credit bearing program. So no loans or no scholarships, unfortunately, for the certification program. Should you withdraw from the program, the certification program, after mid-November, partial fees will be applied, and you'll receive more detail about those. So, if you opt for the master's degree, how do things look to convert those certification program efforts into credits, as well as for the non-candidate for a degree? So in both instances, you'll do the same thing as if you were in the interim certification track only program, in that you'll enroll in the interim certification program, you'll do the coursework in the seminars, in the field instruction, you'll pay the certification program fees with your AmeriCorps award or out of pocket. But for the master's degree, you'll apply by September 30th of your first year in the Corps. That means this coming September 30th. You do have an option to apply next year if you want to delay by 1 year. You cannot do our master's degree in urban pedagogy once you have completed our interim certification program. It must be done either in year 1 or year 2. The master's degree program courses start in January each year, so the winter term. The estimated tuition based on this year's rates are for residents $19,000 and non-residents about $30,000. This is in addition to the certification program fees. For non-candidates, you'll apply January of your second year in the Corps, and in the spring of that year, you'll elect anywhere from 5 to 8 graduate credits for the work that you've done in the certification program. So there are no additional courses you need to take. You're just transcripting the certification program for graduate credits that can transfer to a graduate program of your choosing. Cost is either about $600 for Michigan residents and about $6,400 for non-residents. That depends on if you elect the 5 or the 8 credits. It's in addition to certification program fees as well. So, a few things to know about the master's degree program. It's in urban teaching, so it's really designed to help those of you who are teaching to be more effective teachers while you are teaching, to know even more about the theory and best practices behind schooling, the history, the reform efforts, and the effective practices of being an urban educator. But it would also be a meaningful program for those of you who see a career in education in general, either urban or otherwise, as a classroom teacher, as an administrator, as a policy maker. It will not lead to administrator certification. So if you are interested in administrator certification, you need to apply directly to our policy and leadership program and need to talk directly to that certification or that program coordinator. Information about that program is on the School of Education's webpage. And unfortunately, the program fee structure and scholarships we have for TFA core members for urban pedagogy do not necessarily transfer over to other master's degree programs. However, those other programs also do have scholarship resources, so you'll want to discuss those options with those program advisors. Again, apply through Rackham Graduate School, which is the governing body for all graduate programs at the University of Michigan, by September 30th of this year. If you intend to finish by the time you finish your 2-year commitment in the core, or next year, which means your master's degree program will finish a year after you finish your commitment in the core. There's a $65 application fee. You also will need to take the GRE and have 2 letters of recommendation, academic letters of recommendation, and complete a personal statement and statement of purpose. A little word about the GRE. The application is reviewed holistically, meaning we don't put all stock in GRE scores. And I'll say that again. The GRE is not the most important element of the application. Do your best. Do not stress about it. Do not go out and take GRE prep tests or test classes for this particular purpose. We are interested in every other element of the application just as much, if not more, in many instances, as the GRE. It's designed to work in tandem with the certification program, so you actually only need 8 master's degree classes in addition to the certification program work to complete the program. There are no summer term courses. Courses are all planned in the winter, fall, and spring terms, but you can on your own take electives in the summer if you want to sort of spread things out more. I'll just warn you that the university does not offer very many classes in the summer term, but you can explore taking classes at other institutions and transferring them. You can transfer up to 15 credits. Again, it can be completed within a year and a half if you do it as we've outlined it. And you must be enrolled at least part-time, which is at least 4 credits during a full term to be eligible for financial aid such as loans. Notice that towards the bottom of the chart there that it's the end of year 2 in the spring is when you elect all of the certification program work that you've done for credit towards the master's degree, because you will have completed it by that particular point. Those of you who don't start the master's degree program until your second year in the core, you'll actually elect this certification program work in spring of year 1 of the program. But for most of you, it'll be spring of year 2. And again, it's not, these are not classes that you sit for, but credits that you elect for work that you've already done. The only class that you sit for in that term is a cognate class. There's one other 1 credit cognate that you'll take earlier in the program. Cognates, by the way, are classes that are not education classes. This is intended to give you an opportunity to explore an area, maybe policy or business or maybe even a humanities area, to complement your education studies. Non-candidate for degree. It's very similar to that spring term in the master's degree program where you'll elect anywhere from 5 to 8 credits of the work that you've done in the certification program as graduate credits. That'll show up on a transcript that you can then use to transfer into a graduate program, either at the University of Michigan or at another institution. We cannot tell you what other institutions will accept, so you'll want to do that homework beforehand to know if they'll accept transfer credits, how many they'll accept, and what they'll count towards. So that's a word of caution. The same application is required, but you don't apply for non-candidate for degree until your second year in the course, and not until January 1st. It's the same application, except you don't have to complete the GRE test at all, and there are no letters of recommendation that are required. You also can choose between 5 to 8 credits, either $655 for 2 credits for the work that you do towards the portfolio, $638 for 3 credits for the field instruction component of the program, or $540 for 3 credits for your seminar course. Again, you must be at least part-time to be eligible for loans. In either case, non-candidate for a degree or master's degree, up to 15 credits can be counted towards a degree. Lastly, provisional certification. Upon successful completion of the interim certification program, you may choose to teach a 3rd year in your placement, and by that we mean in an area for which you've been endorsed, and it must be in the state of Michigan. It does not have to be in the same school. But if you do so, you will be eligible for provisional teaching certification. Provisional teaching cert is renewable, and it can be transferred to other states. You'll indicate to us that you want to be in the 3rd year program. This will occur sometime towards the end of your 2nd year. It requires that you complete somewhere within the validity of your interim certification, with somewhere within that 5 years, the successful 3rd year of teaching. And that means that you have to first have successful or satisfactory field instruction ratings during this 3rd year. So we'll continue to send a field instructor out during that time. And you'll also continue to construct a portfolio, but these aren't assignments as much as it is evidence of successful teaching, including evaluations from your principal, a letter of recommendation from your principal, documentation that you've participated in professional development, and so forth. So, those are the basics, but you may have questions. Here's who you need to contact. I'll work from right to left of the people that you see on your screen. Anita Lattenbach, you'll receive lots of emails from, should you choose our program. She's our program administrative assistant and the brainchild of the operation. Anita is the go-to person if you have questions about your actual certification and program enrollment requirements, like paperwork and enrollment requirements such as the bloodborne pathogen training or the MOEX uploads and what have you. Anita's email address is nital@umich.edu. Next, you have Rachel Klingelhofer. Rachel is our associate director. She's a great go-to person for general certification program questions about the curriculum, about the program structure, about the program expectations. Her email address is rrennie, rrennie, @umich.edu. And then, of course, there's me. I'm always happy to answer your questions as well. I'm at klhearn@umich.edu. If you have questions about the non-candidate for degree and master's degree options, here's who you need to contact. Again, I'll work from right to left by the amount of questions we receive. Financial aid are most often asked questions. So Eileen Bruselow is the person you'll go to for those. She's our assistant director of student affairs. She handles all questions and issues for students at the School of Ed about their accounts, about tuition costs, about their bills, about their scholarship applications, and so forth. She knows all of that. I don't even know those things. I go to her when I have questions about those things. You can reach her at efc@umich.edu. Then, if you have questions about how to apply for the master's degree program, like how to actually fill out the application, what's expected in the application, or the residency application, which remember is not about where you lay your head at night, but more so about where you have financial holdings, and the university has an entire website about residency. Betsy Dodge is your go-to person. Her email is elbunce@umich.edu. I'm also available, of course, for general program and curriculum questions regarding the master's degree and non-candidate for degree options. But I hope what I've shared with you today is enough to give you a general understanding that'll convince you to choose our program, because we're excited to learn and teach you. And we welcome you to Michigan should you make the choice to come learn with us. With that, I wish you a good day and go blue.